Hi, my name is Devraj Bardhan and I lead the SAP AI Unit 5 EM Consulting. I'm based out of London and I've been doing SAP for the past 25 years.
Why is ABAP development changing right now more than ever?
ABAP development is changing because we have now AI tools that help in code generation and helps in code automation, code migration, code modernization. And it's changing today for ABAP, but it had already changed for Java and for Python a couple of years back. It's taking time because ABAP is a language that is very different from a lot of other languages and has a lot of intricacies which the LLMs do not know. And through MCPs coming on board and through a lot of new startups and with SAP themselves releasing the SAP ABAP 1 LLM, this has completely changed the game today at a pace that is unheard of.
Can ABAP developers realistically move away from traditional SAP GUIs?
I think they have to. The reason why they have to is because a lot of ABAP development, be it CDS views, are already being done in Eclipse today. Customers are also doing a lot of development using SAP BAS on BTP. We are seeing a trend that customers are adopting both Eclipse and SAP BAS as their platform of choice for building ABAP code. It's sad that we do not have support for all IDEs because you need something called ABAP development tools to enable ABAP development, and the only tool that provides all the bits and bobs today is Eclipse. What we have seen with the advent of AI and with the advent of Cline coming in and basically disrupting the market, that SAP has started adopting VS Code as a de facto standard because a lot of AI tools work with VS Code very easily. With the VS Code coming into play, we will see the customers will start building ABAP code using VS Code, plugging in Cline as an agentic AI platform which can think and act and connect it to multiple LLMs. However, a lot of work needs to be done by the SAP open source community and SAP to create an ADT for Visual Studio Code, without which a full-time development of all ABAP artifacts will not be possible. Given that background, I do feel that customers will live in a hybrid world where they'll use VS Code for as what they need for generative AI and move on to either Eclipse or BAS or even SAP GUI for the last mile.
What role does VS Code play in modern ABAP development?
Like I said before, VS Code enables a lot of ABAP code generation through the use of third-party agentic AI tools like Cline. It can also plug in multiple other third-party tools like RuCode as well. And this is not possible with Eclipse, it's possible with VS Code. Therefore, VS Code becomes a very important player in this market.
How do ABAP plugins enhance developer productivity?
ABAP plugins from ADT or from third-party contributors help ABAPers develop ABAP code at scale and at pace without having the limitations of not having the features that they're used to in SAP GUI or in Eclipse.
Where does AI fit into the ABAP developer workflow today?
Right from functional specs creation, AI can come in and create the technical spec. AI takes the functional spec, creates a technical spec out of it, and uses the technical specs as a prompt and uses the prompt to generate code, which is then used by the developers to modify or adapt. We are seeing that the workflow is both act and plan. AI does research as to how the code will be written. It shows the plan to the developer. The developer can choose the plan and accept the plan, and then it acts and creates the code.
Can LLMs like Claude assist with ABAP code generation safely?
Claude is a very popular coding language. However, it doesn't know SAP ABAP as well as it knows Java or Python. So given that background, there is some amount of hallucination that you'll get with Claude or for any LLM for that matter. So how do we fix that? We fix that using an agentic AI tool like Cline, and Cline or RuCode can be used to basically work with the LLM, Claude in this case, and along with that, a combination of MCPs which have the SAP knowledge is very, very pivotal to success. So a combination of the LLM with an agentic AI tool like Cline with a combination of MCPs is the right solution.
What types of ABAP tasks benefit most from AI assistance?
Test script generation by far is the most preferred one. It can generate very good test scripts and you can use that to test your objects very thoroughly. Validating that the code is following all naming conventions that you have set up is the second one that does very well. And the third thing, it can scan your code for any vulnerabilities especially around security. So those 2 or 3 things it does very well, and it gives you a very, very high level of productivity. It obviously generates code as well, but if you're using Joule for developers, the amount of productivity gain today is about 5%, which is very low. If you're using a Cline with MCPs, you may get about 10 to 15% productivity gain. You're not looking at getting to 20%, 30% anytime soon. It is a slow process. So stay with us. Start with 5%, because if we don't start with 5%, we will never start.
How should developers control AI output using rules and prompts?
You have to give a very detailed prompt. You cannot say create a flight program for me. That's very simple. You have to give it a big context, and there are courses available which teach you how to prompt an ABAP LLM as a first step. Prompting is very important as a first step. Picking up the right MCP is important. Picking up the right LLM for the right task is important, and even more important is to find the right LLM for the right use case. It's a combination of multiple things. You have to be as detailed as possible to get the best answers. Rules are important, MCPs are important. All of them are important to make sure you get a holistic view of the problem, explain in a way it can understand, and generate an output that is relevant to you.
What are MCPs and why do they matter in AI-assisted coding?
So MCPs are like APIs. MCPs hold very specific data, which you then feed to the LLMs to tell LLMs, hey, you know a lot about coding. You know something about ABAP. I'm giving you additional information about ABAP that you can add to it and basically fine-tune your answers, or basically produce the answers based on the LLM context, the prompt, as well as the MCP.
How do you prevent AI from introducing bad coding patterns?
You will have to tell AI to give you the coding patterns which are relevant for you, and you feed that through your coding guidelines. You feed that through a RAG model. You feed that by fine-tuning or training the model with a whole bunch of ABAP code which are good quality that you have generated yourself or written yourself. And finally, make sure that you have an agent that basically checks the code that is generated and identifies bad codes and flags them. So you need to have an agent that is generating a code, and then you need an agent that is kind of validating the code that's generated is good enough for you.
Can AI help modernize legacy Z code safely?
IBM has been working on this for many years, even before LLMs became known. IBM has a history of taking Kix and converting the Kix code to COBOL. We even have tools which convert COBOL to Java. Given their background, we can easily take ABAP code and convert them to Java or JavaScript or modernized ABAP program. Not only IBM, there are many other players in the market which are providing code modernization tools. So yes, there are tools available that can read the ABAP code and convert them or propose modernization. However, having said that, not everything's going to work, and your productivity is not going to hit the roof. It's going to be in the low 20s. Why? Because the LLMs need to understand your context, your Z code, understand why you build a code, and then find proper mechanisms to port them to the latest SAP S4HANA world. So it's going to be a slow shift. There are tools being built. We had lots of new releases from SAP, the open source community, and a lot of other small companies and third-party companies. And I'm sure 2026 is going to be full of new tools being released every day, not every week or every month, every day. So brace yourself for that.
How does this setup support clean core principles?
Clean core is a mechanism in which you write a ABAP code that does not modify the code. It basically ensures that when you upgrade your SAP systems, you are able to upgrade them safely without breaking any of your custom code. SAP's Joule for developers enable you to build clean core. So if you are focusing on clean core, look at SAP Joule for developers as your starting point to ensure that any code that you're creating is clean. If Joule for developer doesn't create the code you want, that's when you start going to other LLMs to get code, which may or may not be clean. But for us, what's very important in code generation is, are you able to generate code? That's the first most important thing. If you're able to generate a code, go live with it. You will find ways of making it clean afterwards, because you cannot be clean code every time. I would think that if you're clean code at 20, 30, 40% of generated code, you're pretty much hitting the right KPIs.
What guardrails should teams put in place when using AI for ABAP?
You need to make sure that you have a very good context defined. You have selected the right MCPs, and MCPs understand the context that you are using. Are you building ABAP code for ECC? Are you building ABAP code for S4HANA on stack? Are you building ABAP code for BTP? Are you building ABAP code for Steampunk? Which version of NetWeaver do you use? All that context is very, very important. Make sure you have good code pairs that are available in a RAG model that your LLMs can dip into to understand what you need. And third, make sure you are making your SAP environment accessible to the LLM so the LLM can read your ABAP codes, understand your data models, understand your context, and then propose ABAP code that are relevant for you and your business.
Will AI reduce the need for junior ABAP developers?
I don't think it's going to reduce it drastically right now, simply because ABAP code generation is not mature enough. So you will still need junior ABAP developers, but junior ABAP developers will need to use ABAP AI and learn ABAP AI to be more and more efficient and cannot take a longer to build codes. They have to be very, very efficient, and they could use LLMs and they can use code generation to become more efficient. What they also have to understand is that there's going to be hallucination. They need to understand the hallucination. So what's going to happen is the mid-tier, the more senior ABAP developers responsible will be to prevent hallucination and for hallucination which the juniors may not be able to catch. So yes, there is going to be a little dip where we'll need less number of developers just because you have AI, but junior developers will not go away because there are still a lot of tasks that AI cannot do which will need the junior developers to do.
What advice would you give ABAP developers who fear AI replacing them?
If you do not use AI, then someone using AI is going to replace you. So you're much more better off using AI and trying to get some benefit out of it for yourself, and also encourage everyone else in your team to start using it, because AI is here for stay. I mean, you're all using AI today. You're using ChatGPT, you're using Copilot, you're using it today. So why not use it for ABAP? I hope you found these videos interesting for your organization, for your own self. Do reach out to us if you have any further questions or need any more guidance. If you're a student looking to learn more about AI, looking more about SAP code generation or S4HANA, reach out to ZaranTech and look at the different courses they have to cover on those topics. If you're an organization looking to implement SAP and looking for guidance, do reach out to me and IBM, and we will be here to help you organize your roadmap and help you with your journey forward. Do follow us on all our social channels, Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn, because that'll help you get the right feeds at the right time. Thank you so much.